Now let's add prefixes to our routes so we can access them more easily, and to be more organized, first we will add a prefix to our brand's routes. We will add a new route group, and inside of it we will define the prefix that we want, so let's say brands, and then we will do the same things to the other routes. So let's go to our category routes, and add a prefix to it, and let's make it category. Then we will go to our location routes and add the new prefix and name it location, and the same thing. For our product routes, we will name its prefix product, and for our last group of routes, which is the order routes, we will name it orders. Now after we have added our prefixes, we will need to use the PHP artisan migrate fresh command to add the tables to our database. Now let's test our application using Postman. Okay, we forgot to turn the server on. Let's go to our terminal and write PHP artisan serve command to run our server, and then let's go back to Postman, and after our local host we will add API/brand/index to get all the brands that we have, and the method is already set to the get method. And after we press send, we can see that there is no data because it is a fresh database and it's still empty. So let's add a new brand using the store route. Let's make the method post and a brand name and then hit the send button, and now we got the response brand added. Now let's retry the index route and change the method to get, and as we can see we will get the brand that we just added. Now let's add a new category and let's name it Apple, but there will be a validation error because we forgot to add an image. So let's go to the body and add a file, let's name it image, and let's choose any image from my laptop, and then we will add a name, let's say Apple, and then we will hit the send button. Okay, we forgot to specify the table in our category model, so let's go to our category model and add a new protected variable with the name table, and give it the name of the table as a value, so let's say category. Now we will hit the send button and category is added. Now let's register a new user to our database so we can make orders. So let's first remember what did the user need. He needed name, email and password. So let's go to Postman and add a name, email and a password, and then we will hit the send button, and now our new user is created and added to our database. Now let's log in using that user so we can get the access token. So we will just edit the name of the route to log in and hit the send button. Now that we got our access token, we need to copy it and go to the authorization section, and then add that access token, so now our Laravel application will know who is the authenticated user. Now let's add a new product so we can make an order. We will use the product route, and then store. Let's see what are the product fields. So first it needed a price, and let's say 200, and then let's add a category ID which is 1, and brand ID which is also 1. It also needed a discount, but let's try without it, because it is not required, and let's remove the required from the validation rules. And now let's hit the send button, and we got an error message. We forgot to add the amount column, so let's add an amount and let's say 20, and then hit the send button, and now our product is added to the database. Now let's try our product index route to see if there is any products, and let's hit the send button, and yes, there is one product that we just added. Now let's make a new order. First we need to remember what we needed in our order controller, so we need the order items, total price, quantity and date of delivery. Let's go to Postman and let's write a raw body and make the type to JSON format. Let's first add the total price, and let's set it to 200, and then we need to add the quantity, let's say 10. And then we need the date of delivery, and let's just set any random date, and then we need to add the order items. The order items will be an array of objects, and we are doing this to add multiple products together. So inside of it let's add the ID of the product and then the quantity and finally the price. Then we will hit the send button. But we got an error as we forgot to add the order route when we made our prefixes, so let's edit it. And let's go to our location controller and edit the store method and edit the way we will add a new location. Then after that let's go back to Postman and add a new location because we need to make a new order. Now let's try to add a new order again. As we already wrote the body, we will just edit the URL and hit the send button. There is an error with the quantity as we named it in our product model amount not quantity, so let's just edit it in the order controller, and then let's retry, and now the order is finally added to our database and we made a new order. Now let's try to change the order status. we will pass it the ID of the order and the new status. So let's say cancelled, but we wrote the URL in the wrong format. We need, after the change order status, write a slash and then the ID of the order. So let's say 1, and now the order status has been changed. Now let's try to get the user orders. Let's get the orders of the user with the ID 1 and let's try it. There is an error in our order controller with the relationship. Let's go to our order controller, and in our get user orders function we will edit the with method into an arrow, and let's edit our query a little and remove the order by as we don't need it. And then in our for each we need to use 2 for each, not 1, because the first one is to go through the orders and the second is to go through the items that we have. And now after we made our changes, let's go back to Postman and press the send, and now we got the user's orders with the items and the product name inside of it. Now we need to protect our routes using a middleware, because now anyone can add and update and see our application. So let's make a new middleware for the admin. We will use the make middleware command and name it admin middleware. Now let's go to the admin middleware file, and inside of it we will say if the authenticated user is an admin then let him go to the root, but if he is not an admin, don't let him go, and send him a JSON response saying you are not an admin. Now we need to go to our user migration and add the admin column. Let's make it Boolean and the default value is 0, so if he is an admin it is 1 and if not it is 0. Now let's use the migrate fresh command to add the admin column and refresh our database, and we need to add the is admin to our fiable in the user model. Now we need to register the is admin middleware in our kernel. So let's go into our kernel in the HTTP folder, add a new middleware, let's name it is admin and add its namespace. Now the is admin middleware is registered and we can use it. So let's go to our routes and add to every route the appropriate middleware for it. So for every route we will chain the middleware method to it and specify the middleware that we want. So for the get order items route we will add the is admin middleware, and now only the admin can access this route. And the same thing for the get user orders and change order status, and for adding brands and categories and to see all the orders. But for the make a new order route we will need to use the auth middleware, as this route is only for users not for admins, and the same thing for the index and the product controller and the show methods, and for all the location routes because the user is the one that adds the location. Now let's run our application and test our routes. Let's first register a new user since we refreshed our database and it's empty, and then let's log in and get the access token of the user, and add it into the auth section. And now let's try to add a brand with the regular user that we have, and we get you are not an admin response. Now we will go to our database and edit the is admin column and make it 1, and then we will retry, and now the brand is added because this user is an admin and can add a new brand. Now this is the end of our project. If you have any problems or suggestions on how to make this kind of projects or any new course or video idea that you want me to cover, please add a comment and tell me. Thank you for watching and check my channel for more Laravel content.